वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। ॐ श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ श्रीचिन्मयसद्गुरवे नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ श्रीकृष्णपरमात्मने नमः। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शरणं प्रपद्ये। श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। ॐ श्रीहनुमते नमः। श्रवणं कीर्तनं विष्णु स्मरणं पादसेवनम् अर्चनं वन्दनं दास्यं सख्यम् आत्मनिवेदनं। Shravanam we have already seen. Kirtanam, Shravanam, listening to the glories of the Lord. Kirtanam, singing the glories of the Lord and manifesting it in our own life. Then Smaranam, Smara, to remember. One of the most important faculties of our mind. We have mana, buddhi, chitta and ahankara. I told you on the first day. Chitta, remembrance. If we did not have this most beautiful quality of remembrance, it would be impossible to think, to experience anything. If I show you this watch and you say this is a watch, it's only because you have a memory of the watch. Is it true or not? What you've experienced before. Impossible to recognize anyone, to anything. Now, can you remember my childhood experiences? Do you remember my childhood experiences? No? None of you? How can we remember your childhood experiences, Swamiji? You can remember your childhood experience. How can we remember your childhood experiences? What does that mean? That the one who experiences and one who remembers is always the same. Is it true or not? You cannot remember anything you have not experienced. And this is precisely why people say, how can we remember God? We have never experienced God. Because if we had experienced God, we would have remembered Him. But we've never experienced God, so we can't remember Him. True enough, in one sense. But each one of us, with no exception at all, have experienced the glory of God. Is it true or not? So what we need to do is understand and see the glory of God. And if we can see that, our remembrance of that will become what? The remembrance of God. As I said, you have not experienced, you can't experience something, remember something you have not experienced. So logical mind is there, I have never experienced God, so how can I? Now, interesting thing. Some people say, okay, we don't even know whether God exists or not. Forget about experiencing. Someone said it, one saint said it very beautifully. He said the very fact that there is so much of controversy about what? His existence or non-existence itself proves his existence. How do you say that? What is the logic behind it? Very simple logic. For example, the horn of a human being. Is there big controversy about that in the world? Bolo. Why? It's a completely non-existent entity and therefore there is no controversy about it. Right? The famous example, these are typical examples given in Vedanta. The horn of a human being, it is non-existent. So there's no controversy about it. There's no debate, okay, is there an existence of it? Is there not? And thousands and millions of people discussing about it. There is no such thing. Why? Because it's completely non-existent. Have you understood this point, this logic? So very fact that there is so much controversy, people are talking so much, proves the existence of what? God. And He's in the very form of existence. So whether you believe in Vedanta or you believe in Saguna form of the Lord or Nirguna form of the Lord, His glory is seen everywhere. The very fact that I exist proves the existence of God. The very fact that I see proves the existence of my eyes. Similarly, the very fact that I exist and the world exists proves the existence of existence, which is nothing but God. Are you there? The very fact that you exist, all of you say, yes, I am, proves God is. I went to Trinidad. I like their language very much. It's called Trini. Anyone experienced Trini? Oh, it's an amazing language. It's English. When you take out all the verbs and everything and then you speak English, then it becomes Trini. Very lovely. It's so nice to hear. And, we say, I am, you are, he is, like that. They don't say it like that. They are more Vedantic. They say, Mike is, you is, I is. Okay? Not I am. I is. There is isness in me. There is isness in you. And there is isness everywhere. That's very Vedantic. So therefore, the very fact that we experience every object in the world as existence proves that we have experienced the existence aspect of God. And in every thought in our life, we experience God as the very existence of the thought. Okay, we are talking bhakti and not jnana. The very fact that there is beauty in the world. Isn't it? See, has any one of you ever seen beauty? Come on. Swamiji, we've seen so many. She is beauty personified. She is a Miss Universe. Hare Rama, you are seeing a beautiful object. I am asking you, have you seen beauty? Any one of you has seen beauty? You have seen a beautiful flower. You have seen a beautiful bird. You have seen a beautiful sunrise. And for those of you who really looked in the sky in the evening, you must have seen a beautiful rainbow. Did you? How many of you saw the rainbow today? No one. Oh, one person. A beautiful rainbow today. Yeah. So, has anyone seen beauty? No, you have only seen beautiful objects. The very fact that beautiful objects exist itself proves the existence of what? An entity called beauty, which can never be seen. Is it understood? Jara aam karo na. Then I know you exist. Similarly, the very fact that existence exists, and that is why you experience all existent objects. Mic is, table is, you is, I is. God is. So, not only that, you have the special appearances of God. God exists like that, but there is special appearance of God. What is the special appearances of God? As this whole universe, and as special incarnations like Krishna, like Rama, like all the beautiful forms that we have. Okay? All the most charming and most enchanting forms of the Lord. And that is again the beauty of Sanatana Dharma, that it gives you all these wonderful forms that you can meditate and think and remember. Swamiji, but I have not seen Krishna. But you've heard of Krishna? Haven't you seen enough pictures of Krishna? Swamiji, how do I know that Krishna looks like that? There are enough saints who've seen Krishna directly, and they say he looks like that, like that, like that. Is that understood? The scriptures, which talk of the realizations of great masters, they are giving you that this is what Krishna looked like, this is what Krishna did. So what do? The remembrance of that is also what? Smaranam. And I tell you, all of you know, if you have told Krishna stories to your children to put them to bed, are they not the most charming stories for the children? Yes. Every day, the child wants to hear the same story of Krishna, isn't it? And then Krishna went, and then he stole butter, and then he had 5 friends. And the next day, if you say 4 friends, the child will say, no, 5 friends. Isn't it? And every day you have to tell, and he stole butter, and then he climbed up, and then he had butter all over his face. So his mummy asked, did you take butter? Isn't it? You must have heard that story 100 times. And yet, if there is a play, or is a dance, or there is this, you still love to watch it. Why? I mean, otherwise it seems a very childish story. Take out all the divinity out of that, it seems a very, what? Ordinary story. But 1,000 times you listen to Krishna stealing butter, you still love it. Is it true or not? You don't? Shall I tell you a lovely story of Krishna? You know, our Krishna Bhagwan, as normal as always, decided that let's make life more fun. And how does he make life more fun? By giving joy to others. Okay. So he said, my favorite prank, let's go steal butter. See, remember, when you say steal butter, the word steal is not really steal as we understand steal, okay? Because his own home had hundreds of cows. Are you aware? He was the richest man in that town. His father had the most number of cows and the most amount of butter in that whole village. and for many, many villages around. So he really didn't need butter. Is that clear? So he was not a robber as you understand, a typical thief or a robber or this. But he went. This was his wonderful prank. So the gopis know the minute they make butter, that's a sure way to attract Krishna. And that's one of the reasons they made the butter in the first place. Because we know if butter is there, fresh butter is there, Krishna is going to come. So what happened to Krishna? Krishna said, okay, now I'm going to go. And so the gopi is waiting. She knows he's coming. And she said, today I have to catch him. I will catch him. I will see that he is caught. So she's waiting. And Krishna looks here, there, and then enters into the house. And he is about to climb onto, and the gopi came and caught his hand. And says, today. And he had this habit of slipping away, putting someone else's hand, all sorts of tricks he's played. So she says, no, this time he's not getting away with it. And she caught hold of him, and he says, now, you want butter? He says, yes, I want butter. Then why don't you come from the front door and say, I want butter? This is not as much fun. So he says, do you really want the butter? He says, I really want the butter. I love the butter you make. You are the best butter maker in the world. All this charm won't do. You may say all these things, but I will not. I work so hard to make this butter, and you're just going to get it like that? No way. You have to work for it. He says, the first time I heard someone say that. Okay, I'll work for it. Come on, tell me what to do. This is simple. I've got a lot of gobar in the courtyard outside. I need all that gobar put on that side. And then you get the butter. So he says, okay, now let's sign a contract. How much butter I get for how much gobar I lift. So he says that, look, for all the butter that you put over there, he says, how do I carry the whole thing? So this is small. I've got a small basket. It should fit, I should be able to carry. The small basket. So you take the butter, take the gobar from there and put it here. And as many baskets that you take, that many licks you get. Because butter you can't eat like that. You have to, that's the best way to lick. To eat. So that many licks you get. So it was decided. It says, okay, you keep the count. I'm not good at counting. I'm too small still. Okay, done. Now what happens? Little Krishna takes all the, what? Then Krishna thought, he took one, he says, how do I know how much? Because you are very kanjus. So you may not give me, so how do I know the count? I can't count. Okay, fine. So the gopi said, for every basket that you take of the gobar, I'll take one little bit of gobar and put on you. Then you count as many and then I'll give you that many licks. So what happened? He took one basket, second basket, and very soon the whole body. And Krishna was so happy, saying, I'm going to get so many licks. Wow, today is my day. Now, he says, work is done, give me the butter. Gopi said, no, contract not finished. But I did everything. No, you look so beautiful, now you dance for me. Only if you dance. I sing and you dance. And then I'll give you as much butter. Every day I give you butter. But just once, just dance for me. And what happens? The gopi sings and Krishna dances. Her life is fulfilled. Do you think after this experience, she needs to remember with a lot of effort Krishna? Bolo? Anytime she closes her eyes, why closes her eyes? Anything she sees that dancing Krishna in front of her eyes. This most charming, beautiful blue boy of Vrindavan. You understand? Once Mirabai had this glimpse, and what? Pibata Mira Nachire. This whole, so we remember, even forget about actually seeing, even when we hear the stories and absorb our mind in the stories, If you take any aspect of the Lord, you know how beautiful Bhagwan Rama was? It is said that when they built the bridge to go across to Lanka, the bridge is over, and it wasn't very broad, it was quite narrow. So they said if one by one, if everyone has to go, it's going to take forever. And they can't afford to spend that much time. Now how do we deal with this? We've got the bridge ready, everyone will start walking on it, but it's going to take too much time. Bhagwan Ram said, I have a solution. He started going in the front. And you know what happened? Every creature from the sea, just to get a glimpse of Bhagwan Ram, came up on the top. And what happened? That little narrow bridge became what? A big highway. And all the monkeys went together. And very quickly they crossed the ocean. The beauty of the Lord was such that the yogis, when Bhagwan Ram was in the forest, those big rishis, big dadi and all Atma Chintan, they are doing all meditation and all, and they saw Ramji going. They were so enchanted with his form, they wanted to go and hug and kiss him. But whenever they would go near Rama, Rama will do Shashtang Pranam and Arati and all sorts of things. He says, but I just want to hug you. Bhagwan said, not allowed. Why? Because I am in this Rama form, I can't. You are Rishi, you are a Muni, you are a great thing. I will only touch your feet. I will not allow you to hug me. It's not proper. But he says, but our heart goes out. We want to hug you. We want to kiss you. He says, okay, wait on. I will take the form of Krishna. And at that time, all of you become gopis. Then everything allowed. Now you know who is Krishna and who is all the gopis? That same Bhagwan took the form of Krishna. And there he says, no problem. You gopi, all the gopis came. And who were the gopis? Not ordinary. They were nothing but great rishis. And their heart, we want to sing all Atma and all Nirgun Nirakar. There is no fun. We want to touch Krishna. So therefore they became the gopis and all the Ras Leela and all of that happened. Now we're even thinking about that, remembering these, what happens? The mind becomes pure. See, okay, fine. What is this? What's happening? What's happening? I'm not trying to hypnotize you, okay? Because that's what they do when they hypnotize. What's happening? As long as the watch is moving, you are keeping on looking at the watch and its movement. That's the way the mind is. It becomes what it sees, okay? It becomes what it thinks. As the mind, so the man. If you think of pure divine things, you become pure and divine. Is that understood? Simple as that. If you think of very cruel and terrible and angry things, you become like that. So therefore, when you listen to these glories of the Lord and you keep remembering them constantly, what happens as a result? Your mind becomes pure and divine. Full stop. Okay? Otherwise, what do we remember? બોલો આજકાલ તો કાંઈ જ યાદ નથી રહેતું. પોતાનો ટેલિફોન નંબર યાદ નથી રહેતો, બીજાને તો જવા દો. Isn't it true? ઘણી વાર કહે ને તમારો ફોન નંબર શું છે તે કે 1 મિનિટ, લેટ મી કોલ માય સેલ્ફ. And then they say, oh, આવી ગયો નંબર, જોઈ લો. So, smaranam. Smaranam is whatever you experience, that you remember, bring again and again to your mind, smaranam. Now, how do you remember God? It's such a nice way. See, I'll give you an example. You know, when you love someone, when you really care for someone, and that person goes away. See, when a person is in front of you, do you need to remember that person? No, you're experiencing that person. You don't need to remember. It's only when the person goes away you, what? Remember. Isn't it true? And then that beloved person, whoever you love, goes away, then anything and everything in the world triggers the memory of that person. Isn't it true? And that is why when you're very close to a person, the person passes away, dies. What happens? You don't want to live in that same house. Why? Because everything in that house reminds you of that. People say that it's now too much. I can't bear it. Why? Because anything and everything that I see is associated with what? with that person. And therefore the memory is so strong. Every article has some story behind it, and it evokes a lot of memories. Now, if you and I can do that with everything in the world, God is associated. Can you imagine what my life will be? Bolo. Anything and everything puts my mind to what? God. How beautiful it would be. A very great saint saw a beautiful lady. She was so, so beautiful. And he kept staring at her. So everyone said, "Hey, Babaji, what are you doing? You should not do like that. Why are you staring at that woman so much? It's not good." He says, "She is so beautiful, so beautiful." You see, now on top of it, you keep on saying like that. It's so beautiful. You're saying, "My God, I am just thinking she is so exquisite. If she is so exquisite, I can't imagine how beautiful the Creator must be who created this exquisite piece of art." Have you understood this point? So his mind is where? On that woman or on God. You get it? So everything in the world, if it gets associated with what? Wherever, we had a very beautiful ad in India, paint company. It became a very, very famous ad. I don't know whether they sold the product. Sometimes the ads become very popular, but not the product. So anyway, here is this, those of you who were brought up in India, they know probably. It was a paint company, Jensen and Nicholson. They had this very lovely ad. They would have, the yellow of an oak, yellow of the egg. So it would be like opened, and then you see that. Wherever you see color, there's nothing else on the big, huge hoarding, nothing else but this yellow of this egg, and to be written, "Wherever you see color, think of us." And they would have different images like that, very lovely images of lovely color, just one color. And wherever you see color, think of us. And it literally happens, that you see this and you think of, can you imagine, this must be at least 40 years back, and I still remember that ad. Why? Wherever you see color, think of us. Can you imagine, wherever I see color, I think of God? Wherever I hear music, I think of God. Wherever I see beauty, I think of God. Wherever I feel lovely thoughts, I think of God. How beautiful my life is. This is called smaranam. And this is exactly what happens in the life of great saints. So let us now also do a little smaranam. Take a spiritual break and do a little smaranam. Okay. Let's sing Bhagwan's name, remember him and in all his glories.
Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana नारायण वासुदेवा श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा।
बोलो कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय। To remember is very important, but it's also very important to forget. What should you forget? We always remember things we should forget and forget things we should. Some old hurts, unpleasant memories, things which are mundane and useless and immaterial. We remember very clearly. Is it true or not? As long as all these type of memories keep impinging on our mind, where is the space for what? Great, good, wonderful things to come out. And therefore, Bhagavan Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, Mattas smritir jnanam apohanancha. From me arises everything. What? Remembrance, knowledge, and apohanam, forgetfulness also. It's so important to forget. So many immaterial and useless things that seem to have crowded our life. We have to clean the slate, clean our inside. You know the very famous story of this teacher. Young student, one disciple came to him and said, "Teach me, give me knowledge." Then the teacher said, "Okay." So he had this big blackboard and he kept on writing. The whole blackboard was completely full. There's not a little inch of a space. And the student said, the teacher told the students, "Go, write down one shloka that you know." He said, "But teacher, there is no space on this whole blackboard. How can I write?" So what will you have to do? Saying your mind is exactly like that. It is so cluttered with all the useless things. Unless you wipe it all out, how will you ever remember any good thing I tell you? Now, for so many days we have been Shravanam, Kirtanam and all. But ye yaad nahi reshe. Is it true or not? So many other things we will remember. But this little shloka, which is there, is so difficult. Swamiji, avu badhu nahi yaad rahe. Biju badhu yaad rahe. Isn't it? So here it is said, it is important to forget as much as it is important to remember. Now, see, remembrance is a practice. It's a ability. So we have to. Many times people say, "Swamiji, umar thai gayi, and now we become old, so we don't remember." Now, when is the last time that you ever practiced remembering? When you are kids, you learn a lot of things by heart. Is it true or not? So you constantly use this faculty of remembrance. You keep on, this. And unfortunately, now the present education, so-called wonderful education which has come, you don't need to learn everything by heart. You don't have to. Is it true or not? And what happens? You've never learned, you've never used your memory ability to remember, and you don't remember. Whereas in the good old days, everything you, what? Put into the... So it was available whenever you needed. You're saying, Swamiji, now also it's available. You have Google, tuck, there it's available. But my dear, supposing all the lights go off and everything goes off, and then your phone also is not charged, all of that, then what Google will you do? Are you understanding? So your dependence, they never depend. Our grandparents and great-grandparents, I remember my grandfather, and it's quite an age, he was 80, 85. He remembered, he said in the second year of school, I learned this poetry. And then he went on, he had done some BA and all of that. So each year, what all he learned, which subject, he knew it all. And for us, in the 5th standard we forget everything we learned in the 4th standard. Is it true or not? Imagine that. It's a faculty, so don't you think we need to exercise that? Well, and if we constantly bring back, this thinking, okay, I have to remember. So therefore, each day, take some nice thought and remember it. Keep it in mind. Because now what we do, we are very wonderful. Because of this computer, every day you get good thoughts on Twitter, on Facebook, on emails and forwards and all sorts of 100. And the only thing that you're interested in doing is forwarding it again to someone. Oh, so nice, patak, forward. Meaning it's not meant for, and then after the forward, delete. Yes or no? So what happens? Nothing remains. It's all. Swamiji, today morning I had a very nice thought. What was that thought? And you are more interested in, hey, did you get that? Did you get that? You must tell yourself, did I get that? Is it happening or not? So smaranam is this. I keep it with me. I hold on to it. I make it mine. And how will this memory power increase? I have what is called a memory mantra. જોઈએ છે? બધાને જોઈએ છે? સાચે જોઈએ છે? એ મંત્ર શીખતા બહુ વાર લાગશે. It's called the Medha Suktam. It's a beautiful mantra. It's not a mantra, it's a small mantra. It takes 1 minute and 10 seconds. You can time me to chant it. And lots of people I have told, Khaskar in the students, I said every day you have to chant it. In our schools and all that, I've said, you have to chant it. And they learn it. And now there's so much Vishwas in that. The day before exam, everyone, before the exam starts. Shall I chant it? It's a Vedic mantra, okay? It's a Suktam. Suktam is a whole praise of the Lord. It's not a memory, it's intelligence. It's not just intelligence, it's the ability to grasp the meaning of a thing and hold on to it. That's the power called Medha Shakti. Okay? Yes. It goes like that. Medha Devi Jushamana na agaat Vishwachi Bhadra Sumanasya Mana Tvaya Jushtanudamana Duruktaan Bruhadvadema Vidathe Suvira Tvaya Jushta Rishir Devi Tvaya Brahma Gatashri Ritatvaya Tvaya Jushtas Chitram Vindate Vasusano Jushasvatra Vinona Medhe Medham Ma Indro Dadatu Medham Devi Saraswati Medham Me Ashvina Vubhava Dattam Pushkarasraja Apsara Suchaya Medha Gandharve Shuchayan Manaha Daivi Medha Saraswati Sama Medha Surabhirjushatagam Swaha Ama Medha Surabhir Vishwarupa हिरण्यवर्णा जगती जगम्या ऊर्जस्वती पयसा पिण्वमाना सा मां मेधा सुप्रतीकाजुषन्तां मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि अग्निस्तेजो दधातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयीन्द्र इन्द्रियं ददातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि सूर्यो भ्राजो ददातु। ॐ हंस हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसिः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। 1 minute 10 seconds. स्वामीजी આ ગોખતા ગોખતા જિંદગી નીકળી જશે. At least you would have tried, Anyway, what I'm trying to say is Smaranam. It's a power. It's a power of memory. Remember God in all the beauty that you see. Anything that you have, remember it's a gift of God. Any achievement that you do, remember the grace of God in that act. This is called Smaranam. Because so many things happen, And then in your life, when that happens, immediately your mind should go, oh, it happened because of God. Start the day with remembrance of God, end the day with remembrance of God. In and through everything that you do, remember His presence, see His grace, see His beauty, see His blessings. This is called Smaranam. And of course, there is this thing of Namasmaranam. Namasmaranam, remembering the name. And I tell you, name is the most powerful thing in the world. Person is not as powerful as his name. So many times the person may be standing in front of you and you don't even know. Let us say Mukesh Ambani comes here, you won't know. Then you say, Mukesh Ambani, one of the richest 10 men in the world. Oh. He may be sitting here in the audience. Check out. You won't know. Then someone tells you, this is this guy. Mari baaju mat betha tha. Then you'll go and tell the world. तो खबर ज नहोती. Why? The form may be there, but if the name is not known, nothing you know. So name is very powerful. The name of God is so powerful. And any name is fine. Even if it's mispronounced, said in any way, any time, it doesn't matter. That is why Namasmaran is very important. You can chant it anyhow, in any way, at any time, under any condition, any. See, if you have a particular mantra, then you have to chant it in a particular way, etc., etc. But Namasmarana, you don't need. Any time is fine. The mantra has to have maybe some rules are there and how you chant, etc. But Namasmaran. Namasmaran means Rama, 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 Krishna, 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 Krishna. That remembrance of God, that doesn't require a particular condition, and in the morning you can't do, at night you can't do. No, you can do any time. In any way. Even if it is wrongly pronounced, like Valmiki did. Instead of saying Rama, Rama, he said Mara, Mara, Mara. And what happened? It became Rama, Rama, Rama. There's this lovely story which is quite my favorite one. You may have heard it. This Panditji, this man from the village, he said, I must do some sort of spiritual practice, something I must do. So he went to the Panditji in the city and said, Panditji, give me some sort of a sadhana that I can do. You tell me what I can do. So the Panditji said, you must take the name of God and that will help you in life. He said, okay, tell me which name of God should I take? So the Panditji was a Panditji, so he gave some nice, fancy name. He said, say Agha Mochana. What? Agha means sin. Mochana, one who frees you from sin. Agha Mochana. Say that name and do whatever you are doing, just keep chanting and everything in the world will happen for you. So he says, fine, that's a good name. So he went back home, but by the time he went home, he forgot. Like was, So he forgot. What is that? He said, I think he said Gamochan. He forgot the part of it and he remembered what? Gamochan. So he said, doesn't matter. Gamochan, Gamochan, Gamochan. Morning, evening and night what? Gamochan, Gamochan, Gamochan. And Lakshmi ji, the Narayan Vishnu Bhagwan in Vaikuntha started laughing. So Lakshmi ji said, what happened? He says, I got a new name. He says, what new name? I know all your names. I call you a lot of names myself. What new name are you talking about? He says, I got a new name called Ghamochan. Now Lakshmi ji is a very sophisticated lady. She didn't like this Ghamochan. It's not a sounding a very nice name. Say, what Ghamochan? Aake naam che? So he says, you don't know. He said, what does it mean? He said, whatever, it's my name, full stop. What does it mean? He says, but what can you're saying it wrong? And if he says it wrong, how? He says, you don't know the power. I know it is my name. Whether anyone else recognizes it, I know he's calling me and it's my name and finished. It's it. So Lakshmi says, I don't think such things work. She says, go and find out. She says, I won't go alone. Like how, many ladies, no? Tame sathe aavo to hu jaun. Like that. So she told Vishnu Bhagwan, you come with me. And we will go together. So Vishnu Bhagwan said, I'll only accompany you up to a point. After that, you want to test him, you go test him. Why should I come there? He says, okay, at least you come close by and then leave me. So this man was in this village and working in the village, Ghamochan. He is happily doing that. And they reached that place and Vishnu Bhagwan said, there was a ditch near the farm somewhere. He says, I'm hiding over here, you go and test. So Lakshmi, and he told Lakshmi, he says, don't go in this fancy clothes of yours. He'll get scared. He's never seen anything like this. So you go in some ordinary, ladies' clothes. Don't go like this. So she said, okay, fine. So she went into a dress of an ordinary lady and went there. And what happened? He is busy. He's not even looking up. Ghamochan. So she went near him and said, hey, whose name are you chanting? Whose name are you saying? Without even looking at her, he's saying, your husband's. Lakshmi ji, what? Do you know where my husband is? He's hiding in that ditch over there. Lakshmi ji, without a word, came back and said, let's go. Let it be Ghamochan. It's as powerful as Agamochan or any other name in the world. You understand? Whether with meaning, without meaning, it has its own power. Why? Because Bhagavan says, I know it's my name. Now, I know it's my name. And I give the power in the name. And in fact, actually speaking, as Bhagavan himself says, that my Naam has more power than my Roop. Because when my Roop is there, when my form is there, that's when I can bless them. But my name blesses even when I'm not there. You understand? See, when a person is there, he can do something for you. But his name can do something even when he's not there. Is it true or not? In our country, in India, that name Gandhi, most undeserving, nothing to do with Gandhi is using that Gandhi and doing yes or no. Italian Gandhi. What all they get away with? Just because they've got this? What? Take out that word Gandhi, no one's going to? Is it true or not? Name is so powerful. Do you doubt the name? The power of the name? Yes, this is the power of the name. You can get anything and everything. This is called Namasmarana. Should become part of our life. Anytime anything happens, any trouble happens. The good old days, the old ladies, if they're, getting a problem, when they're Krishna. Isn't it true? At that time also what comes out? Not Bapare, Hai, Ram Ram. Ram Ram would come out. Chik hai to? Ram Ram. Isn't it true? Not bless you. What bless you? I tell you, હવે તો બધા આખું જગત આપણને બ્લેસ કરવા માંડ્યું. વાહ રે વાહ. શું પાવર છે? It's only God has the power to bless, no one in the world. Have you understood this point or not? And some small little child bless you. What bless you? Have you understood this? A cheek kind bless kare. Ram Ram, Krishna Krishna. Don't they say? I remember, as a kid, I would say, the typical hi, So my grandmother would say, શું કોઈ મરી ગયું છે? Is anyone dead? હાય હાય કેમ કરો છો? લે હાય ભરા કરો છો? રામ રામ બોલો. કોઈ મરી નથી ગયું અહીંયા ઘરમાં. You understand? So every occasion was an occasion to remember God. And the name of the God was chanted constantly in different contexts. Anything happens. You have a problem? Ram Ram. पेट दुखे? राम राम. खाते भी राम कहो, पीते भी राम कहो, सोते भी राम कहो, राम राम राम. You know, children's bhajans. Ram 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 Ram. They love that. The kids just love this bhajan. Yeah. So at all times we must remember who? God. So let's also remember God once more. Shri.
जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल, 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 जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल.
One of the most classic examples of Smaranam is Shabari. Shabari was living in that ashram of Matanga Rishi. If you know the story of Shabari, no, when she was very young, she was to get married actually. But she was so ugly to look at that her husband saw her face and ran away. and said, I don't want to get married to this lady. She's left. She's a tribal woman. She used to go to the ashram of Matanga Rishi and do seva. No one allowed her to come into the ashram also, so she would go in the night, clean the whole place up, make everything, all the flowers for Matanga Rishi, everything ready, and disappear. Everyone used to wonder that how is the ashram so clean early in the morning? Who gets up at 2 in the night to do it? Once they found this lady was there, and she was doing it. They reported that there is this lady who does this thing. Should we stop her? Matanga Rishi said no. Let her do it. And then in time, Matanga Rishi went away. But before he went, he told her that, look, just keep serving. In this way, and one day, Rama will come over here. He had already given her, she would hear the glories of God, and she did satsang with Matanga Rishi and told her that just say Ram, 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 Ram. He says, who is Ram? He says, the meaning of this name, Rama, will come to you. What? You won't have to do anything. You just say Ram, Ram, Ram. The person who is called Rama will come to you. You just say the name. Who is Ram? He's God. Just say the name and he will come to you. Bas. Matanga Rishi went away, the ashram became a deserted place. But she, every day, because my guru said, this is called Shraddha, faith. My guru said Rama will come. So every day she would clean the place, she would gather all the flowers. If he comes, and this is the mala I will give for him, this is the fruits I will give for him, she would do whole day. One day gone, not come. Doesn't matter. Tomorrow he's going to come. And she would do the whole thing all over again. And again, she became old. Can you imagine years and years went? She didn't say, Sujeka, for how long do I have to take it? Typical modern day language, Kind limit hoy ke nahi? કેટલી દિવસ આ બધું આપણે ઘસાય જ કરવાનું? No. Year after year after year after year, with that same enthusiasm, today he's going to come. Today he will come. Fresh flowers, fresh everything. Not that કાલનું છે હવે ચાલશે આજે એક દિવસ. No. And what happened? Years and years passed, and Bhagwan Ramji once came to her. You all know that. He came to her. And she said, when she saw Ram, already her eyesight was quite bad and everything. Saw him, and then she realized, she recognized Bhagwan. She didn't need anyone to tell this is Ram. And she came. He didn't say, who are you? I've been waiting for Ram. Are you Ram? No. Can you imagine? She knew this is Ram. And when he came, you can imagine the state of that. She says, I don't know what I have done. Huh? We would have said, "Main to ketlu karyu." She says, I don't know what I have done to deserve you to come and give darshan to me. And then Bhagwan Ram spoke of Navdha Bhakti. You all know that. And told her, oh Shabri, I did not tell you Navdha Bhakti to teach you about Navdha Bhakti. I talked about Navdha Bhakti to show you that you have all 9 of them. And Bhagwan called Shabri Bhamini. Bhamini means beautiful lady. Now what is this beauty that he was talking about? The physical form. She was already old. I told you she was so ugly that the person went away. No. And Bhagwan himself is calling her what? Bhamini. And said all the 9 types of bhakti that we are speaking of, you have all of them in full measure. An interesting thing. Then you all know that what she gave? This is the berries that she gave. She had tasted those berries and Bhagwan ate those berries. And interestingly, Lakshmanji was standing next to her and Lakshmanji got so mad. He says, you putting it in your mouth and giving it to Bhagwan? Now Bhagwan saw Lakshman is agitated. So what Bhagwan did? He would take a bite of the berry. First Shabri bites. Then Ram bites. And then he gives it to Lakshman. Now since it's come from Rama, it's become what? Prasad. So immediately he puts And he says, now I understand why Bhagwan Ram, that taste that is there, it would not have been otherwise. It is years and years and years of remembrance of Lord. That taste is there in this berries. It's not some ordinary berries. It's that love that is there that I am eating. And this. So this is called the power of Smaranam. When you are doing Smaranam, that Bhagwan comes to you. He gives darshan to you. He appears before you. This is the power of Smaranam. You know, we, in our homes, in the good old days, we used to have a lot of pictures of Bhagwan in every room. Is it true or not? Now we બધેથી કાઢી નાખ્યા છે. ખાલી પૂજા રૂમમાં રાખ્યા હોય અને પૂજા રૂમમાં દિવસમાં એક વાર જતા હોય. Isn't it true? એ પણ કદાચ, you know, but they used to have, so what? Constant smaranam. Anywhere you see, there'll be the picture of God. Now you go, you open the teenagers, this, what do you see? Terminator, that those WWF creatures, na? Undertaker, they told me, there's one Undertaker. Rama, you open, first thing in the morning you see, Smaranam. What you remember whole day, then that's what you see is what you're going to remember. So therefore, please, every day in the morning, I told you yesterday also, you take the and put, this is the Smaranam. Bhagwan, may I remember you always with love, remember your grace, remember your glory. And then after that what happens? There is this Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam. Pada Sevanam. Pada, feet. Sevanam, serving the feet. Now this is something, see, these are all expressions of love, okay? See, I already told you yesterday, feet is what you, stand on. Feet is what you stand on. So what are you doing? You're serving the feet means, I serve the great virtues and the values you stand for. I worship the virtues and values you stand for, and I serve the cause that you represent. You understand? I serve that. You know, like Gurudev has this great cause and great mission. So what is called Pada Sevanam? Serving his mission is called what? His Pada Sevanam, because he stands for that. He stands for this great, glorious work that he does. And so I serve his. Then the other way is, the other meaning of is, see, the feet takes the burden of the whole body. Is it true or not? Takes the burden of the whole body. So when you serve that section of the society which takes the burden of the whole body, what are you doing? Or whole society, then what are you doing? Pada Sevanam. Have you understood that? The people who serve you, they are taking so many other burdens. And then if you serve them, then what happens? Whom are you serving? You're doing Pada Sevanam. You understand these different meanings of Pada Sevanam? Not just, pressing the leg of a person. That is not only Pada Sevanam. You serve that society which is burdened, which is taking the load of the society, which is being undertrodden, which is below, which is not so well off. If you take care of that part of the society, then what are you doing? Bolo. Pada Sevanam. This is another beautiful meaning of Pada Sevanam. And then you all know that when you press the feet of the person also, there's a lot of love in your heart. Then only will you do it. Is it true or not? If you don't have that feeling, you won't even press the feet of a person. Right? So, and what is the bhava behind that? That I want, whatever pain or whatever tension that you have. They do this acupressure, na? And they take out what? All the tension. So let me take away any burden that you have, any this that you have. May I serve you and may I make you happy. This is the whole bhava behind Pada Sevanam. And one of the most beautiful stories of Pada Sevanam is Bharata. Bharat kaun? Ramji's brother, Bharata. You all know the story. Kaikai sent Bhagwan Ram to the forest. And in the absence of Bhagwan Ram, what happened to Dashrath Maharaj? Message. And at that time, when all this was happening, where was Bharata? At his Nanima's place. What happened? He got this news and he was shattered. He was devastated. He says, what is this? What did my mother do? Is my mother my enemy? She thought that she's doing it for my love, but she's destroyed me. She's destroyed Ayodhya. What type of a thinking does she have? He was so mad with her. And he was so sad at the fact that his father passed away because of that, and his beloved brother was sent in exile. Anyway, he came to Ayodhya, and then everyone said, please take on the throne. He says, are you mad? I don't deserve to be sitting on this throne. Just think of any other brother in that place. Anyone else in that place. He says, no way. And he said, I am going to bring Ram back. The whole of Ayodhya rejoiced at that and said, we will also come with you. Extra pressure. We were all going to join you. You know, signature campaign, na? More the signatures. So the whole of Ayodhya, along with Bharata, went to bring back what? Ramji. They went to the forest, and from far, and you know full story about it, and from far Ramji and Lakshmana saw. Lakshmana had this doubt in the head that maybe Bharat has not come with very good intentions. Rama said, are you mad? Do you know the heart of this Bharata? Yeah. He would not even dream for a second to what? Take the throne of Ayodhya. He will never. Anyway, here he came and he said, look, he gave the news, that father has passed away, etc., etc. And he says, the purpose for which I have come is to take you back. Please, please come. And there is no question of me sitting on the throne of Ayodhya. Bhagwan Ram said, no. Prana jaya par vachana jaya. I have to fulfill my father's wish. And I will do that. I will not come back. There's the most amazingly great dialogue between Ramji and Bharata. You have to read it and understand the nuances. Especially read it and understand from Guruji, Swami Tejaman. What a dialogue. Two great souls talking at a level that we can't dream. That such great thoughts can pass in the mind of a person. I'm not coming. I'm not going back without you. I'm sorry, beta, I can't come. I can't. And then finally he says, look, he knew that Ramji would not come. And the people of Ayodhya were also, they were all there. So they decided finally that he had to go back. But he says, I shall never be the king. It is only you who will be the king. And I will be your what? Representative, a dasa. And you shall rule. Now how will you rule the kingdom when you are sitting over here? He says, no, I don't need you. I need your, what? Padukas. If I don't have your feet, let me have your what? Not shoes. I don't like the word at all. The padukas. Let me have those and I will. And you know how he took it? On his head, never put it on the ground. And he stayed in Nandigram, kept the padukas there, and he never went to Ayodhya for that entire duration. Not once. He did not partake of one luxury that could have been available to even the minister of a king. You understand? He did not. He stayed there incomplete, he says, my brother is living like a ascetic. And how can I have all those pleasures and, people serving me? He lived, much more in austerity than Bhagwan Ram lived in the forest. And keeping those padukas as what? As his. And I tell you, one is the feet and the other is the paduka. They say that the padukas are greater than even the pada of the Lord. Even for the Guru, they say paduka is greater. Why? Because the pada, the feet are there only when the whole form is there. But when the form goes away, the padukas remain. Is it true or not? You can still serve the padukas. That is why in the Chinmay mission we do the paduka puja. Each time, that we can do. Invoke God or the Guru in the padukas and then we keep on doing. I remember a very great saint, my grandmother's Guru. And then when he was about to leave and this devotee's disciple said, if you leave, what happens to us? Where will we go? You can't do this. You can't leave us. And he was sitting there and he put his feet down. He says, I'm not going anywhere. I am right here. And what happened? When he put his feet up, there was the impression of his feet on stone. It's still there in Dwarka. That he put his feet down and it's there. And he says, I am right here. And the devotees of that Swami, they still go there and they say, he is right here. They experience the grace and the blessings right there. So the padukas and the pad are very, very important. This is called pada sevanam. Loving the Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, pada sevanam, Archanam. We have seen 5 forms of bhakti. Now, Dasyam, Sakhyam, then Vandanam and Atmanivedanam we shall see now. Tomorrow, now let's do the Arati, and after the Arati we shall have this.